Hey, welcome back. It's Stephen Young, another episode of Motivational Monday with the Young Realty Academy. So, over the weekend, one of my mentors challenged me to narrow down the top 5 books that, if I had to recommend to somebody, what would they be? I thought this was going to be quite an easy exercise, but upon reflection and review of my own personal library of books that I've been reading for the past 20 years, it was actually quite challenging to narrow down to just 5. Now, the first couple were quite easy because I still read them every single day. But the remaining 3 are books that I still read constantly. I just wouldn't necessarily put them into a top 5. They're obviously in the top 10. But upon reflection, essentially I wanted to know, what were the books that really changed my life? What were the books that really changed the path that I was on? And I came down with these 5 books mainly because I read them all the time and I recommend them all the time. But also because if you read them, I guarantee you'll get the same results that I was getting. The first 2 books are quite easy. I know if you know me, I can recommend these all the time. But the number 1 book, of course, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I first picked this up when I was 26 years old, and there's no question about it. It definitely changed the trajectory of where I was going at the time of my life. But the second runner-up, and I would probably say it would be in tie for first, is a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, if you're in real estate or real estate investing, you've heard of the book, you've definitely heard of the author. But for me, I was 18 years old. It was the first book that I read that wasn't a school book. And for me, it really changed a lot about what I was doing and really the path that I was going to go down. At that time, I was really involved with school, obviously. At 18, I was still in university, just beginning university, actually. And everything was revolved around sort of this institutional teaching. There was nothing ever taught to us about investing, about assets and liabilities, and where to go and where to take your life, but from not necessarily an employee standpoint, but from a big business owner or an investor. And for me, I would say this is probably, if not a tie, a very close runner-up to my number 1 recommended book. Now, the next 3 books are, you may or may not have heard of them, just because 2 are over 100 years old, and 1 is a book that you can't even get in bookstores, so you have to know about it to get it. And that book is called U Squared by Bryce Pritchett. It's one of my favorite books, namely because you could read it in under an hour. It's only about 40 pages long. And every student that we coach and teach in our academies gets a copy of the book. Now, you can't find it in bookstores, but you can definitely find it at their own personal store. It's self-published. I think you go to pricepritchett.com to find that. And the other 2 books, again, I would highly recommend you get them if you can find them. The first one is called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Now, this was written back, I think, in 1890, and it's an incredible book. Obviously, the way it's written is not quite like today's writing, but it's still a very incredible book, and I recommend that highly. And the 5th of my top 5, if I had to only narrow down to 5 books, would certainly be The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace T. Wattles. This book was written in 1903. It's a book that still stands the test of time today when it comes to real estate investing and about changing your life when it comes to earning money. It's a book that I've studied for years now. I've taken live courses. We coach people on the book. And if you haven't read it, I would definitely read The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace T. Wattles as well. So that rounds out my top 5, and that's my view from the top.